So my journey started from China because my cousin living in China, he's married there. He have his life living there for more than 14 years, I guess now. And he was the one person who asked me to come there, go to China. Hey, you should come here. Life is easy. Life is interesting here. It's not like what you see in media and stuff like that. Before going to China, I would say that I was not a very big fan of China. I just see it like, like a stereotype in my head. It's Chinese, like old buildings, old style, that cultural thing. But when I went there, first time I landed in Urumqi and then I landed in Changsha. And that was a mind-blowing experience because I was not expecting anything that's gonna be modern or something. So, well, that was the very first shock for me, but I kind of fell in love with China after that. I start studying my degree until COVID. So everything was going right until COVID. So during COVID, I came back for like 20 days. I said, okay, let's go back to home. Let's meet family, do the basic things that we need to do in our country, like making driving license. That was the biggest one. And we'll go back to China after 20 days. But that was that was the mistake, I guess. We came back. China didn't open for until 2023, I guess.
So
But
in 2020, you went back
yeah,
to
in 2020 I
Pakistan.
went back. Yeah, I was hoping that it's gonna work. I'm looking for information, looking for forums, reading, messaging to my teachers, university, like what's the situations when we're going back, looking YouTube videos and stuff. It was until I guess November or October when my cousin applied for family visa because his wife is there. They
For
rejected that.
China, right?
I mean, yeah, they reject the family visa. They said they didn't say reject, but they try not to, make it very hard for him. Okay, you need to get that, you need to get that. It's not possible. We have two vaccination from China, stuff like that. And at that moment, I understand. Look, if the person who have a family there, he cannot go back. What are the chances that a student like me can go back anytime sooner? And that is the time I started looking for different options, like maybe in Turkey, maybe somewhere in Asia, like Thailand, Philippines. And then I found Ukraine. I personally love Eastern Europe. It's the best place on the planet. I found Ukraine. It was cheaper. The universities were cooperative. They can accept the transfer students. I don't need to waste my 2 years. That's a good thing. I applied for Ukraine. So
And
I
which
went to
year was
Ukraine.
this?
It
2021.
was, yeah, I started the process in the end of 2020, but I went to Ukraine in the start of 2021. It was around April, March, I guess. In the March, I guess. So I went there, I continued, started my studies, and I also there was something just stuck in my mind that time. It was, why not? I should start something from this. I'm the person who came from China. There is a pain for students, and I can solve that. And then I start giving the solutions to different students, first of all, to my friends, to my cousins, to my classmates. And that's slowly started to make like a business thing. I got very good positive response from so many students. I managed to bring so many students in Ukraine. Everything was going so good until war. That was the second time things are going good and war started. It
I
was
think
20.
I'd just like to say that we had a first conversation was about a week before that.
Yeah, I remember that. Yeah, things were going
We
very
discussed
great.
about possibility, right?
Yeah,
And
and
so
everything was
things
going
are
good.
interested to hear
War
what
started.
happened.
War started. I was not expecting that. I mean, there was the news flashes and everything like, yeah, there can be a potential war. The soldiers are there and there. I think it's never going to happen. Like, they're just trying to do scare something or like a political thing or something. But it's actually started. It was 22nd February or 24th February. I'm not sure about this exact date. I wake up in the morning and I heard the attack in Kharkiv. There was something like a missile or something attack in Kharkiv.
That's
Everybody's
you were in
panicked.
that city, right?
Yeah, I know. I was in Kiev, so I just went to Kharkiv like a week ago, in for the Kharkiv Medical University. That was the very big university in Ukraine. So many students were coming there. And now I'm kind of panicked, like, what should we do? For the first few days, we managed to move to the village because Kiev was the very hot spot for attack and everything. We moved to the little village side to our friend's home. And we are thinking, what should we do now? There was three guys, me, my cousin, and one of my friend. We were three living together, so we just moved there. Now, first thought was that maybe we're gonna stay in Ukraine and wait for the war. And second option was to go to Poland and maybe just go back to Pakistan or continue your studies in Poland or somewhere else. All three options were not easy because if you're going to stay in Ukraine, your fund's going to run out. You don't know what's going to happen in future, how the situation going to be. But there was one moment when we were pretty sure we should leave the country. What happened is that my cousin and my friend went outside to buy something from a local shop in that village. That guy think these guys are spy or something. That guy from the shopkeeper guy called the police or rangers or I don't know, whoever they, and police came to our home in the village. Who are these guys and why you are hiding them here? Show us your identities, ID cards and stuff like that, and we try to explain them we are students here. We explained them that we are students here. We have nothing to do with war-related things. This was the point when we understand that maybe staying here can be hard because we are not very good in Russian language or Ukrainian language. Plus, our official structures are very different than the locals, and they might get scared of us. So we decided to leave for Poland. We went to Poland. It took us like more than 2 days. First, we went to Kiev. It was all locked up. We walked to the station. Scary and exciting at the same time. We wait overnight in the train station, wait for the train that was leaving for the Kharkiv. We went to Kharkiv. From there, we got somebody. We paid him like $100 to $200 just to drive us to the border. So he did that. We went to Poland. We are safe. Now the second thing was that are we going to stay here or are we going back? Because Poland only gave us 15 days of visa, which is not enough for most of things. You cannot convert your visa, you cannot do anything, you have only 15 days. I decided to stay, my cousins decided to stay, but my friend decided to go back because he think I don't want to take any risk, I'm going back. I want to be safe. So he went back. So only two of us left. My cousin left for France. I stayed in Poland for the next 12 days. And then I started to read the regulations, like which country have relaxed policies, where I can go to convert my studies. And I went to Spain. From Spain, I settled in Germany for some time. Germany was a very relaxed with the policies, most of the time with the refugees and, in these things, like from Syria or from Afghanistan or from different countries. Germany is very relaxed with that. So I stayed in Germany for like more than around 6 months, you can say. And at that time, I also applied for Canada. There was one leverage I had that most of Ukrainians and most of Europeans have, is that Canada offered 2 years of open work permit to nationals and permanent residents of these countries. Plus the war situation helped me a lot, and I applied for the open work permit to Canada. And I got approved after 6 months. So I came here. I'm living here for more than 1 year. Process is very easy to immigrate in Canada. I mean, you can collect the points, you can work, your English level, your educational level, and you can apply for your immigration file. I already did that. I'm just waiting for the good news, and hopefully it's gonna be soon. So that is the journey. I mean, there's a lot of things happen in between, but that's overall the journey is. I stayed in so many countries during the time in Europe because I was looking for the best country. I went to Spain, I went to France, I went to Portugal, I went to Denmark, I went to Poland, Czech, Italy to stay and look which country have the best things to offer me. But I noticed one thing there is that language is a big barrier. If you really want to do something there, you have to learn the language of that country. For example, if Germany, you need to learn German to be successful in future. And Canada, UK, I mean, these countries have like easier for me to, adopt. Culture is very familiar. I know the language, English. It's easy for me to adopt here than there. But if I need to choose after coming to Canada or America, between Canada, America, or Europe, I will choose Europe. It's more exciting. These countries are boring. Yeah,
Boring.
Canada is boring.
Which
Why?
city are you in?
I'm in Winnipeg.
Winnipeg. Okay.
Yeah,
Winnipeg. And so
I'm in Toronto, and
I
all
can
the
see
major
you're-
cities super expensive.
Yeah, more than Europe.
Yeah, yeah.
Okay. Yeah, I can see you're studying quite hard on the side there. You have all the notes on the wall. What are you studying?
This is just my plans. It's my plans for future. It's a
Got
plans
big
to
plans.
freedom.
Yeah.
Yeah. I have a lot of things going on all the time in my head. Like there's a few things. One of them is of course the freedom thing. Maybe you heard about the FIRE thing.
Fire.
FIRE. Yeah, financially freedom thing. Like if you have certain amount of money in your accounts, you can live off your investments.
Yep.
Yeah, so that's something my goal is to achieve in like next few years, that I'm gonna have enough money so my investments can give me enough for my basic needs like apartment, basic food and housing, stuff like that. That's the first goal.
Yeah. So, are you studying medicine in Canada, or did you change the program?
I already graduated. That's a good thing.
Oh, okay. So you graduated
Yeah.
already, right?
Yeah. So that's a very good
So-
thing because I don't have to do anything now.
Yeah. So, it definitely has been. Must have been a challenging journey. You've gone through many different changes, right, in the last few years. So it's good that
Yeah.
you seem to be well and seem to be very strong to go through that.
Yeah.
So I'm interested to ask what your plans are for the future.
My plans for future. I'm a person who prefer business over working somewhere else. I went to companies, I never liked it. Why? Because the environment, I cannot accept that. Mostly, maybe that's in different countries, but I'm going to talk about Canada. You're going to work for 2 years on a basic level position. After 2-3 years, you're going to get promoted to different level. It's going to take you 10-15 years to be something. And I don't have 10-15 years to be a manager or something when I can start my own thing. In the world where we're living right now, it's far easier to start your own things than to work for somebody else. So my future plans are, first of all, I want to have my family business. My family business is, we manufacture things. So we have family business, we manufacture things, garments, sportswear, stuff like that. First of all, I'm going to help them. I'm already helping them, and to stand them and to be more future-proof, because before they were just doing everything locally, like within the country. I want to promote that. I want to promote in different countries.
Is that a company from Pakistan?
Yeah, exactly. We are doing it for I think more than 25 or 30 years, but it's more locally. But when I understood that they cannot compete the future if they are not online, they don't have online presence, they're gonna die sooner or later. So now I'm building their social media platform so they can be future-proof. Once that's done, I'm peaceful that my family's 100% fine. They're doing their own things. And for myself, I have the Exodus, that the project I started in Ukraine. That's the first time when I started that, and I'm gonna explore this part more. I have plans to go back to China this year. I will go back to China. I have plans to visit a few universities, plan to visit a few students, and try to expand the business.
Yeah, the family business or the other one
Family
you
business, they are already handling everything. I just need to do the online part, like just give them platform or build them a social media platform so they can keep advertising their products and keep getting the clients. They are good with that. For me, mine's a little more from the scratch because that's the only me who's starting this thing. So that is my future plans.
Cool. Yeah, it's really, you must have learned a lot from the journey because the cultures and the situations are so different and you have quite a unique experience of being in China, Ukraine, Germany, and Canada. I don't think
Yeah,
there's many people from Pakistan who've been to so many countries in those times as well. So
yeah,
it's really interesting.
I, yeah, I should not say that, but it's very hard to find a person from Pakistan who been to this journey in this young age because I got a chance to see the world in so young age, and now I can decide far more easier than anybody else. When a normal person come to Canada straight from Pakistan, for that person, this is the place he want to be. Heaven, hell, everything here. But for me, when I came to Canada, it it kind of disappointed me in some ways. In future, yes, I'm planning to stay here, but not anytime sooner in my youth, maybe in my 30s or 40s, not before that.
That's really interesting because I think that when I was living in China, I didn't consider other countries, but now I'm actually in Dubai and
Hmm.
I'm having a very different culture as well, which is more international in some ways and also
Hmm.
have the Arabic culture, which is really interesting as well. So it's like seeing a very different part of the world. And I think I've probably benefited a lot from changing location. And I think I didn't realize that I'd have such a big benefit. And I think when you go to one country, there is a benefit, but maybe going to another country is like also a big benefit as well, isn't it?
Yeah. Right now, if I now I know that if you want to make money, where you need to be, if you want to have a peaceful life, where you need to be. I know all of these things just because I've been to so many different countries, and it's easier for me to make decisions. So plus,
Yeah.
I was reading the Ray Dalio's book, The Changing World Order. That gave me a lot of insights, like where I should be in the future.
Yeah. What do you think about where you should be in the future?
I think
Because
I
yeah.
pref I prefer Western Europe and
Hmm.
Asia, Vietnam,
Yeah.
Thailand, these countries. Uh, the governments in these countries, like the developed countries in America and Canada, is very hard to break. What people call nowadays metrics. It's very hard to break this thing. They have so many tough rules. They have a cycles to achieve anything. If you want to be something, you need to go through a process to be that person. If you want to be a manager in some company, you have to stay in that company, earn the trust, get the experience, make your resume right and stuff, and then you're going to be that. There's no straight things here. But in different countries like in Eastern Europe or stuff like that, if you have the qualifications or if you think you can do something, you can be in that place. Plus, I like more relaxed rules from the governments. I don't want super strict governments. Yeah, safety is okay for the person who have a family, who have kids, maybe in his 40s or something, but definitely not in your youth. I would love to spend my youth in somewhere where there's more things happening. I prefer China, even though the Chinese government is, we know what's happening there, but still I prefer China. Maybe the one good reason is I have a Pakistani passport also that can help me, with a good relation with China. So I will be okay for some time.
So do you think that Eastern Europe or Western Europe is better to be?
Eastern. The top
Yeah.
countries in my list are Poland. That's the first one. Poland, Slovakia, Ukraine, Romania. These types of countries. Nothing more.
Hmm.
No, no, not Germany, not France. Nothing. They are just super strict. But
Strict
these
in what
countries are the
way?
best.
How do you mean strict? Just the
I mean, there's
I
a
know
lot
what
of
you
things.
mean, but how would you
Okay,
describe
so
it?
in strict in the manners like with the immigration policies, and
Mm.
also they're expensive. In the way of career, you cannot do your own. I met so many Pakistanis. So let me give you example for you. In Ukraine, I met few Pakistanis. They are billionaires with their net worth. That person came to Ukraine like I don't know 20, 25 years ago, and that guy managed himself to be a millionaire or the billionaire. And I was shocked. The reason was that because when he saw the opportunity there, he get that. It's hard to get opportunities in the bigger countries because they are very well, everybody knows that there's opportunity and they will slice this opportunity to get the piece of this, cake to everybody else to maintain, to maintain the society. But in those countries, if you are strong, you can get the whole cake to yourself. You don't need to even give to anybody else. So that the guy who was a billionaire, who had that power, who took all the cake to himself without giving to anybody else, and government was fine. All right, you got the cake, get it.
Interesting. What did he do?
He was in the steel industry, steel manufacturing. So he started from there. He got, I don't know what he was doing. He also bought the news channels, local news channels. He advertised his company and stuff. He hyped that company. The stocks goes up, sell the company, get the benefits. Things like that. I mean, I would say a bit unethical, but still the opportunities. I mean, if you start looking at most of things in the world, when you remove the cover behind all the shiny things, there are something shady things going underneath. Nobody talks about that, but there are in every single company, in every single place.
Interesting. And I think I kind of know what you mean by how maybe the more developed countries, it is much more competitive because there's already, everyone knows what the pathways are.
Yeah.
And there's just much more, I don't know if there's more talent, but maybe there is more talent and it's more competitive for the opportunities. But on the other hand, it's important to differentiate yourself, isn't it? And then find, in some ways, there can also be more opportunities because there's more kind of opportunity in some way. That's how maybe I would see it. But then I think in developing countries, there's also kind of less competition, and it's easier to be unique, isn't it? And there's definitely less competition if you go to Poland, because there's not going to be so many people from Pakistan going to Poland. Maybe there are actually to study there, but there's not as many as Canada, right, or Germany. There's just much less competition. So that's really interesting, and it's definitely, the world seems to be changing, isn't it? It has quite a lot of changes in the last few years.
It's very fast. It's scary. It's scary and it's fast. It's very scary and fast.
So, you're planning your next move then? You plan to go to looking at Eastern Europe, is that right?
Yeah, for the longer term is that, but for now I will go to China.
Yeah, okay. When are you going to China? I'm also going to China soon.
Very soon, and hopefully if everything goes well, in 2 or 3 months.
Yeah. And are you moving there for study or for just a trip?
It's mostly for the business thing, want to go there, look for things, say hi to universities and the students who are already there waiting for me, because there's a lot of students I sent to China, and I also want to meet them. Yeah.
So can you tell me about that? How's it going? You're helping students from Pakistan apply to Chinese universities, right?
Yeah. So not just Pakistan, I would say India and Bangladesh also, because somehow the language Urdu and Hindi is very well, understood in this region. I can speak that, they can relate with me, I can understand their pain.
Hindi and Urdu, right?
Yeah, I mean, it's very same. It's very same. Writing is different,
similar,
but speaking is very same.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
I didn't realize that. I thought they were quite different.
There are, I mean, if you start going to deeper, then but in general, it's okay.
Yeah.
Like poetry.
Spanish and Portuguese, or?
Can be.
Is it related?
I think more similar. Ours are more similar.
Oh.
Yeah, Urdu and Hindi is more similar, because Urdu is also spoken in India, so there's so many people who can speak Urdu in India.
Yeah.
And mostly the movies we see in India, or the songs, definitely they are in Urdu. The artists are speaking or saying in Urdu. So there's a lot of influence of that. So I'm helping them. I started that again. I started in Ukraine, so I got some connections. I got some students. Those students have the friends, and their friends have some friends. It's like a compound effect. And then when Ukraine stopped, I told them, like, China is open. If you need any help from me, most welcome. Yeah. I can help you get in China. So that's how I got the students, that's how I got the leads, and I'm helping them to get in Chinese universities because mostly agents in Pakistan or in mostly countries, they've never been to China. They don't know what's the life there. They can't,
Yeah.
they just send you there. You don't even know you are going in a village or somewhere. I can help them to choose the best place where they want to be and help them. Look, I experienced the same thing. I can guide you the best. Same with any other countries I lived in. I know how it feels like to be there and how I got there. I know all the pain that you are having right now because I was at that position one time long ago. Yeah, so in next 3 months, I'm going back to China and going to meet the students because for me, I think network is really helpful in this kind of business. If you are in this kind of business, your networks, your friends, your connections play a big role because these students or these, people have so many friends, their cousins who also want to go to different country and they can introduce you to them. So most of the time, what happening is that someone find me on YouTube, they contact me, I help them with best possible experience, and they like that, and then they introduce their friends, family members with time. So that is my model for now.
And so,
of course, I also.
Go ahead. What you will say?
Of course, I want to also add this social media more in future. I'm just trying to build a team that's gonna help me with that because handling everything alone is very hard.
Yeah. So
making reels, editing, and
what are you doing that the team is doing? Is that the marketing of it?
Yeah, the main focus of the team will be marketing, and hopefully in future they will replace me in terms of calling and guiding stuff, and I will be just the manager who will manage the teams, and that's all.
Okay.
Last 6 months I was reading a lot of things. Not just last 6 months, I read a lot in general from last 5-6 years, but last 6 months was reading all the time.
Yeah.
I read thousands of books, I would say, courses to improve myself for future and preparing myself for, future life.
What's the best thing that you've read?
I have a lot of books. I have a lot of books that I can recommend depending on the categories. Like, if you want to know about the word thing, like what's the word happening, how this money thing work, I would say that Ray Dalio, maybe you heard that guy or not.
Yep.
The Ray Dalio's principles. I have a chart here. This is his chart of how economy of a word works. I keep this to myself so I can know when the next economy or the country is going to go on a rise, so I can be there to grab that opportunity. So this is the one of the book I think very practical one that I liked. And also in terms of psychology and selling, there's thousands of people who like sell. To sell is a human. Is I think I forget his name. I forget his name. I forget the author's name, but the book name is To Sell is a Human. And also like there is one more book I was reading, Your Next 5 Moves, by Patrick B. something David.
Bet David.
His book is also very interesting. No, it's a good one. It's a very practical one. It's a very good one. I like the books which they can give you more practical things to think or do. Not the one theory, you're just imagining things and here and there. But his book is really good one. I'm also going to read his next book, going to read his new book, which is like Choose Your Enemy Wisely. I'm also going to read that one. Other than that, there's a lot of books in my head right now. I mean, Ryan Holiday's books are also good.
Yeah.
Robert Greene, I read all of his, every single book of his.
Yeah,
Robert
he's a
Greene.
good owner.
Yeah. And Art of War is a Chinese book. It's a Chinese book, very older one.
Yeah.
And Prince, I'm still reading that, but hopefully I will finish that in future. It's like a very tough, wording, hard to understand kind of. You need a lot of focus to read that book. And what else? There's a lot of books. I mean, I can name 50, 30, but it's depend on which category we're talking in.
Yeah, I can recommend a few that I've have been reading that I think are good. One of them is, this is like my reading list, if you can see. So
Yeah.
I can send to you as well. One of them is Transurfing Reality. Is a really good book about mindset, and I really recommend that. It's about like how do you set visions and things like that. And then another one is and then like some basic ones like how to win friends and influence people. It's quite a common
This
one.
is like the very first entry level, like Rich Dad Poor Dad entry level type.
It's good to keep rereading as well, and
Yeah.
Magic of Thinking Big. And then I just started reading the Bible and the Quran as well, which is
that's good.
I find quite interesting.
Yeah.
But yeah. So because there's actually quite a lot of wisdom and metaphors and things to learn in there as well, which is quite interesting.
Yeah.
But yeah, that's it's really good to talk. If people want to learn more about you or connect with you, how do they do that?
If they want to learn more about me, I think the best way is my YouTube channel and Instagram. That's it.
Okay. And what's the names?
Saboor H. Khurshid. They can go and search on Google. The best way. They're gonna find everything there.
All right, we'll put it on. We'll put it in the description. The link.
Yeah, perfect.
And great to talk, Saboor. Anything else you want to share?
No, I mean it's really good talking after 2 years.
Yeah.
Maybe we'll do again in future. Hope so.
Yeah.
It was very good talking. Yeah. I mean it's hard to find people who are in the same journey like you, because nowadays it's very hard to find. I don't have any, like I would say, like a real close friend or someone who is in the same journey like me. So it's very hard to connect with people when you're doing something different than others.
Yeah, I think there's not many people who have been on your journey, right?
Yeah.
Everyone is on their own journey.
Yeah. Yeah.
All right. Cheers, Saboor.
All right.
Good to talk.
All right.
Talk to you later. Cheers. Bye.
All right. Bye. Take care. Bye.